And would you like me to get all the code officers in here so you can swear them all?
Yeah, let's swear everybody in together.
No, you guys, whoever's talking, come in, you're swearing in. Again.
On the record.
Are we up, Yolanda?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I would like to call to order the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing for Thursday, February 24th, 2022. It's about 5 minutes after 9 o'clock in the morning. My name is Keith Davis. I am the Special Magistrate appointed by the city to preside over today's agenda. First thing I'd like to do is go ahead and swear in city staff. We're going to be testifying during today's hearings. So I've got everyone behind me. If each of you will raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. You can either have a seat, or if you guys need to go back in the conference room.
Tucked away. That's what.
For respondents who are present when your case is called, you can come up to the podium to my left. And the way we'll generally proceed is I'm going to hear from the city first. The city's witnesses will provide testimony. There may be documents. Once the city's concluded its presentation and made any recommendations on a resolution of the case, then I will hear from you. We'll swear you in at that time. And I will hear from you if you have additional documents, if you have photographs that you want me to look at. That will be the time to produce those. Once I've heard everything from everyone on the matter, in all likelihood, I will enter an order today that resolves the matter in some form or fashion. Please silence any cell phones that you have so they don't interrupt our proceedings, and that will be appreciated. And then generally we take either cases with city staff that has to be excused or respondents that are present. So whatever order you want to proceed in, let's go ahead and call the first case.
Okay, we're going to go to page 10 of the agenda, item 32, case number 21-2489. Property address of 1755 14th Avenue North. Property owner is Swinford Mattis and Andrea Mattis Wright. Fire Inspector Del Rossi. And this is a status fine assessment. You heard this last hearing.
Okay. Good morning. You can remind me what we did at, I know I did continue or set status hearings a few cases in January for today. So you can remind me what we did with this one last month.
Inspector Del Rossi, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. The property is 1755 14th Avenue North. Lake Worth Beach. The last hearing, you said that the fire alarm issues, the permit had to be closed out by yesterday. And then the other permit for the interior remodeling, you were gonna assess if there were gonna be fines for that or not today.
Is this the one where you were supposed to meet with them like that day or the?
No, this is another one.
Okay.
And so I checked on everything yesterday. As of yesterday, there have not been any inspections completed on the fire alarm or the interior remodel permits.
So there's been no forward progress since the January hearing. Okay. Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent for this case? What up, sir? Let me go ahead and swear you in. You swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, thank you. Go ahead and put your name and address on the record, and then you can tell me what's been going on since we were here in January.
Okay, my name is Swinford Mattis, property owner, 1755 14th Avenue North. For the fire alarm first, the contractor was out for a bit sick. Unfortunately, when he came back, just got back a few days ago, actually, and got his permit because none of his other employees could access his file. I actually have, unfortunately, on record here, I forgot to print, but I have it here on my cell phone. That final inspection is scheduled for tomorrow, unfortunately, 25th. And I have a confirmation here from the city, and my phone, I just forgot to print it. As far as the interior goes, I do have a final inspection on the interior, not the new work that was going on, that's going on under the current permit. Now, but like we talked about, he came and inspected everything else, and and I got a signature, and I can bring it up for. But here's the permit. I got that final inspection on it that you recommended that I get.
Why don't you show whatever you want to present to the city attorney, and then we'll take a look and see what that is. All right, so if you want to take a look at that, is there any objection to that document being made part of the record?
No objections, so Mr. Swinford is okay with us keeping it.
Okay,
Okay, I'm not sure what okay site check means on February 18th, but I did confirm with Peter Ringel, the building official, yesterday that there have not been any actual fire inspections or building inspections on this permit as of yesterday.
so housekeeping wise, let's see what we're talking about here. This the respondent's document is six pages. Top page is City of Lake Worth Beach Building Department inspection request. There's some typed notes and then a handwritten note that Ms. Del Rossi indicated, okay, site check. Looks like manager 2/18/22. Sir, do you know what that handwritten notation is? What is that?
Yes, so that was from the building inspector. So I articulated to him what we have going on. And he also looked at the new section that is currently on the construction, but that part is just in the rough phase. So basically, just like you instructed me to do, to come and take a look and give me an inspection, he took the plans, he walked around, checked everything that we're doing, checked the current situation, match it up with the plans. And then he went over to the next side and then he signed it off out of what he saw that day. I still really need to get in for another final inspection when the new work is completed. So, I thought that's what you wanted me to do, and that's what I did.
Well, I think what I really wanted was the fire alarm situation to be resolved. And I understand what you said, you don't have to repeat yourself. But nothing happened for whatever reason on that. And that was really, do you know the name of the inspector that created this document?
I forgot it.
Let me hear from Mr. Ringel, building official.
Peter Ringel, building official with the City of Lake Worth Beach. Michael McCarroll was the structural inspector who was out there and did the courtesy inspection. Right. Okay, and it was more of a status update than a passing of the final building.
Right.
Okay. Palm Beach County Fire has to come and inspect and pass the fire alarm system. And I believe that's what they are speaking about today, is the fire alarm system. The work is not complete. So, the final inspection can't pass until all work is done and all appropriate inspections have been taken.
Mr. Ringel, let me ask, are there active permits for this interior remodel work at this point?
Yes, there are 2 active permits on the case. And, neither permit has been closed out at this time.
So at this point, the code violation is the fire alarm problem.
Well, they both are, but my main concern is that fire alarm, because I don't know, because what happened is they replaced the fire alarm system in 2017, and then they replaced the communicator sometime between 19 and when I went in 21. And so I don't know if what they installed is installed correctly. So until we have an inspection on that and confirm with our inspectors that everything is functioning properly, I have to assume that there could be an issue with that fire alarm system.
Okay. Sir, you're indicating there's an inspection scheduled for tomorrow?
Yes, I forgot to print, but I have a confirmation in the phone. But
Is that with Palm Beach County Fire or the City of Lake Worth Beach?
it's the city of Lake Worth Beach.
Yeah, Palm Beach County Fire.
What about the fire alarm?
Yeah, Palm Beach County Fire is the one who has to inspect the fire alarm. So you may want to, after you're done here today, call Palm Beach County Fire and schedule the fire alarm inspection. So one of the fire inspectors can go out there and verify that the system is per plan and permit.
Right.
Let me ask Ms. Del Rossi a question. Let's say that phone call is made this morning. What's realistically, do you know what the turnaround time is to get an inspection scheduled?
I can't answer that because it's a separate office. It just depends on what their what their inspection load is tomorrow.
I tell people generally 5 days would be the maximum that I've ever seen a fire inspection.
And Mr. Noel, is that still within the time frame of the open permits?
Yes, the permit would not expire. He has 180 days from the issuance of the permit in order to obtain and close out the permit.
All right, sir, is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So this inspection here, because the building inspector, when he was out here, he said he also wants an inspection also from the city as well. So that's the one that's coming tomorrow.
Right,
So
and
if it comes, then we get the one from the county.
right, you have it backwards.
Okay,
The county's first, then the city. Because the county comes out, inspects, then the city can close out the permit after the county inspects. But we will work with you on that.
okay, thanks, appreciate it.
All right, Ms. Del Rossi, do you have a recommendation on a order for this case?
I'm concerned with this still not being done, and there's no, once he gets it called in, there's no guarantee it's gonna pass. Because the things have been sitting there so long, I don't know, if there are any issues with how they were installed in the first place.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be inclined to give any more time. This has been ongoing since June.
Well,
Has the open permits though?
for the building, for the interior,
And he has an open permit for the fire, he just needs.
to have it inspected, and if it doesn't pass, then that has to be corrected. But quite honestly, I understand what you're telling me, that people got sick or whatever, but I gave you an extra month and nothing has happened on that. So I'm not going to kick this can down the road any further. I am going to find proper notice. Respondent is present. He has proper documents in the file, and we continued this last month while the respondent was at the hearing. Property remains in violation as cited. I'm going to allow until March 3rd for this to be complied. That's 1 week. After that, daily fines of $250 a day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. So you got 1 week to get this stuff straightened out. I'm not interested in any more delays or any more continuances, because as Ms. Del Rossi said, this has been going on now for well over half a year. And I went out on a limb and gave extra time last month and nothing happened. So that is my order for this case.
So is that just for the fire alarm issue, or is that also the interior remodel?
Well, if there's open permits, if anything needs to be inspected, I would like, on the fire, I want that done.
Okay,
On the interior remodel, I mean, they're active permits, so I'm not really concerned. I don't think that as long as the permits are active and that work is ongoing, it seems to me that that's under the building code at this point. But I want all the fire related issues inspected and either passed or not passed, fixed and passed.
okay,
So whatever your fire related NFPA violations are.
okay. Yes, because the issue with is they just submitted this interior remodel, but what I cited them for was they had done changes to the building previously without permits.
Right, so it's NFPA 1.12.6.3 is what I have, whatever
Right.
the violation of that code section is.
Yeah, which
March 3rd.
which encompasses both the inside and the fire alarm.
Okay,
Okay,
understood.
thank you.
Thank you. Oh, if I did not award administrative costs at the last hearing, those are awarded $425.29. If they were awarded last month, it's reaffirmed. If they weren't, then that is ordered today. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do you need a copy of that?
No, that's the actual.
Okay. Can you come by the office afterwards so we can copy that? We need that for
And
our,
we'll need a copy of that for the file if it's to be made part of the
by
record.
the building department. Let us copy it.
Yes, you want to go to, okay,
You can go now and ask for Jean.
okay, I can do that.
Okay, and tell her that you were told to come, the whole thing, because that's what we're putting into the record.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Good afternoon or good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Afternoon feels like afternoon.
We're going to go to page 6 of the agenda, item 21, case number 21-2349. Property address of 506 North B Street. Property owner is Tammy J. Vaughn, Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Division, previously sworn, case number 21-2349. And the owner Tammy J. Vaughn, address being 506 North Beach Street. This property was found to be in violation of code sections 14-32 and 14-35 to apply for and obtain a business license. Those two violations have since been resolved. The owner has produced proof and identification that she in fact occupies the residence. In Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 23.2-21 to apply for and obtain a building permit for the installation of a split unit AC that was installed with no permits. That has not been complied. The property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022, found to not be in compliance. There are photographs of the property. There was personal contact with the property owner via telephone, as well as contact with the owner's daughter. At this time,
I'm sorry.
Read the recommendation.
Yeah, go ahead.
At this time, the city is recommending that the owner be allowed to come into compliance by April 28th, 2022, because it involves permits, or a fine of $100 per day be assessed, and the administrative cost of $425.29 to be paid by April 28th, 2022 as well.
So the only thing left outstanding is the building permit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the business license and use and occupancy are resolved.
Yes, sir.
All right, good morning, ma'am. Let me swear you in. Do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Go ahead and put your name and address on the record, and then you can tell me about where we are with this.
Tammy Ron, 506 North Beach.
Yes, ma'am. So where are we with the building permit?
It was just a total misunderstanding. I just thought that everything was taken care of.
Okay. So I mean, the city is recommending another more than 2 months to get that resolved, which would require getting the permit and getting it inspected and passed. I think at this point in time, 2 months sounds like a reasonable period. Turnaround time to me. I would think that should be enough time. Is there anything else that you would like to tell me or any concerns you have about that?
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from the city?
No, sir.
All right, the city has proper notice in this case. Respondent is present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation of City Code 23.2-21 regarding the building permit, but has complied with the other code sections that were cited in the notice. I will accept the city's recommendation in this case, allow compliance, allow until April 28th of 2022 for the respondent to comply with the outstanding violation. After that, though, there will be daily fines of $100 per day. So you want to make sure you get that taken care of. Since there was a finding of violation, the city is awarded its administrative costs, which are $425.29, and I'll make those due also on that April 28th date. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Magistrate.
and get the application.
Next, we're going to go back to page 10 of the agenda, item 33, case number 20-123. The address of 524 South Dixie Highway, property owner CJS Checkers Lake Worth LLC, Officer Dorsis.
Code Officer Fedleen Dorsis with City Lake Review Code Division, case number is 20-123. Owner CJS Checkers Lake Worth LLC, address 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, Suite 6 in Miami, Florida. Property location is 524 South Dixie Highway. This was an internal complaint. The case was initiated on January 8th of 2020. The existing violations are 23.21-0817.10 for tree abuse and trimming. 23.21.08.17.13 penalties of tree damage. The violation has been complied or resolved at this time is 23.5-1 banner signs, which has been complied, 2-756.2 for general requirements, which has been complied. Building permit 23.22-21, which has been complied, and 14-35 for use and OSB inspection, which has been complied. Notice of formal violation was issued via certified mail on February 3rd, 2022. Certified mail was received on February 5th, 2022. The property was posted on February 4th of 2022. City Hall was posted on February 7th of 2022. The property was last reinspection was on February 23rd of 2022. Photographs of the property has been taken as the city had personal contact with the property owner. Okay. As for the penalties and tree damage violations and tree abuse trimming, the city attorney has been working with Checkers on an agreement.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Elizabeth Lang with the City Attorney's Office. So we have been working with Mr. Smith, who's here today on behalf of Checkers. I just discovered yesterday that Checkers who we've been dealing with is actually the tenant, not Checkers, the owner of the property. But the owner has been notified of everything. The owner, we were working on an agreement, but we were unable to come to conclusion with it. But what the city is asking for is a recognition of the tree abuse penalty as stated in the code, calculated would be $57,840. The code also requires a restoration contract and program that will last for 5 years. The tenant has contracted with Zimmerman Tree Services and performed the first year of that service, which has brought them into compliance currently with the tree abuse violation. The contract that they are under for the full 5 years will cost over $11,000. So the city has agreed that we would reduce the penalty to $12,000, which covers the code fine of $1,700 and a contribution to the tree canopy restoration fund of $10,300. That the respondent would come back annually for starting in January of 2023 for a status hearing in front of the magistrate to make sure that they're staying on schedule with the restoration documentation, and that they would notify the city annually in either November or December to let us know that that restoration activity is occurring on an annual basis through the restoration time plan. And that failure to comply at any time during the 5-year restoration period or to pay the agreed upon $12,000 by March 15th would then the full penalty of $57,840 plus the code fine of $1,700 would be reinstated.
Okay. So the penalties in these are based on the size of the tree?
Yes.
What was it? I didn't hear the violation in this case. Remind me,
It was
or not remind me.
contracting on 7 trees.
7. Okay. By code, the 57,840 is what the fine would be. But the city's agreeing to this 5-year restoration plan with a reduced fine. And it's periodic status checks. And assuming that complies, that'll be that. If it doesn't, it would revert back to the original full amount plus there was a 57,840. There was another $1,000.
$1,700 in code fines that accrued from the date of the order that assessed the fine
Okay.
through the date that they were stayed.
Okay. So that's the city's recommendation. That has not been reduced to an agreement, though. Is that correct? Okay. So we have someone here on behalf of the respondent. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Well, make this clear. My name is Sean Smith. I'm an attorney for the tenant at the property, Checkers Drive-In Restaurants Incorporated. And I understand that this code enforcement hearing is against the owner of the property, which I believe is CJS Checkers. So I'd be speaking on behalf of the tenant who received notice of this hearing through the owner. The owner provided my client, the tenant, with notice of the hearing.
Okay.
And Checkers did retain Zimmerman Services, which was a tree restoration company that I think was recommended by the city. And they've implemented the first part of the plan. We've entered into a contract for 5 years, it's over $2,000 per year, to make sure that we are taking the actions to restore the street to the best possible place it could be. We were negotiating an agreement with those terms with Ms. Lenahan. And, in particular, the main substance of the terms Checkers is in complete agreement with, and they would be the party that's going to end up sending the checks in those amounts to the city. So there are no issues with the total of the $12,000. I think it was the way it was separated out. We think parts of the city, part would be going to the restoration fund. I would ask if the magistrate's inclined to enter that order as recommended by the city, that it just details how we pay those checks. If we are sending one check to the city, okay, because I want to make sure that we understand that. March 15th date is something that we would agree to or comfortable with making that payment in time. I've been informed by my client that they'll be processing that check today if this is all agreed to. They want to move forward and act in good faith towards the city. The only questions I would have with regards to reducing this to an order would be with regards to appearing annually, which is something that my client would like to do to make sure that we're showing everyone we're taking the correct actions to restore the street. Is that they receive notice in advance, the exact date, time of the hearing, because it's going to be set 5 years out. They would like to, receive notice in advance each year and not kind of guess what day in January that they need to be here to provide.
Well, that's reasonable. I don't think there should be any problem with that. These agendas are set a year in advance. I mean, everyone knows the dates of the hearing, so that shouldn't be a problem.
And the other request that we would make with regards to the recommendation by the city attorney would be kind of in the same vein of notice of providing the status report. If the owner or the tenant in this instance could receive the request to provide an update in advance, we would request that because we'd be getting that from Zimmerman Tree Services. They'd be the person that has the expertise to give the update of what's been done, status of the trees. So that way we would have sufficient time to get that, gather it, provide it to the right people. So similarly, we would request receiving a notice and in return, giving that by a certain date.
Your Honor, the city would object to that. This is the responsibility of the respondent to provide this service on an annual basis for 5 years as part of the restoration plan. This is part of the violation. They need to provide annual updates to the city.
Okay.
That the restoration has been completed or is being completed.
Okay.
Understood, and I understand that.
Understood. Is there anything else, counsel?
If there are any other issues you'd like me to address, I could provide more information about what's been done by Checkers, the tenant, to restore these trees. They realize the mistake they made and want to make sure these trees are in a good place and be a good actor in the community. As far as the other issues that I think were outstanding prior to today, I believe they've all been resolved. As far as the building permit has been closed, the use and occupancy certificate. That was
the testimony, the only outstanding item as part of the tree.
Okay, so unless the magistrate was inclined to issue the entire fine amount of $50,800. I won't say any more, but if you'd like to hear more from me as to why I agree it should be reduced, I'd be happy to give more reasons.
One more thing,
Yes,
Honor, if we can make sure that the order reflects that they hired some emergency services and they agreed to stay with that contract and that approved restoration plan. And if they want to make any changes to the plan with the contractor, they'll work with the city on it.
I have a copy of the plan here if you'd like to attach it to the order. I don't know if that's beneficial. But we are absolutely fine with that. And if anything was to change or for some reason Zimmerman went out of business, we want just approval from the city to whoever we hire. But we intend to move forward with Zimmerman Tree Services.
Okay, then here's what I will do in this case. First, there is proper notice. Second, I will find that the property has complied with the code violations cited in the notice, with the exception of the 23.21.08.17 code sections regarding tree abuse and penalties. In this case, I will accept the city's recommendation in terms of the 5-year restoration plan and the reduced fine. I agree that proper notice of annual status hearings is appropriate. I also agree that in terms of providing the reports, that is on the respondent. I don't think the city, I agree with the objection imposed by the city, and that is sustained. That would not be part of the order. The order should, and I'm going to let you guys put this order together so that and you think you're much more intimately familiar with the details of the proposed path forward. I do agree that it should include language that Zimmerman is the contractor, and if there's going to be any changes, that needs to be provided to the city in advance, and you guys need to work through that. Whatever that language needs to be to satisfy you guys, that's fine. And then just submit the agreed order and I'll sign it. If there are any insurmountable sticking points on the language in the agreed order, I guess we'd have to come back and work that out, but it sounds like this shouldn't be a problem. So that will be my order in this case. And I certainly appreciate the city working with Checkers and Checkers agreeing to acknowledging what happened and agreeing to fix it.
And just to clarify, you're okay with the March 15th date payment?
Yes.
Any failures means reinstatement of the full.
Correct. Basically adopting the recommendation that you outlined in your presentation with the addition of the notice requirement for the annual hearings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to page 11 of the agenda, item number 37. Yes, item number 37, case number 21-1404. Property address is 628 North M Street. Property owner is Neil and Barbara Carnum Trust. And Magistrate, I believe we have the agent for the owner, and I also have a tenant here. So that would be up to you whether you want to hear from the tenant.
Okay.
Designated agent forms on the other side, sir.
Designation of agent. Owner's name, Neil Larnham, agent Marcus Phillips / Real Property Management. And are you folks here? Come on up to the podium. And we also have a tenant present. Yes, ma'am, if you probably be easier for you to just hang tight with the bundle you're carrying there. And in the event you want to come up and offer any testimony, we'll accommodate that, but I don't need you to come up here, and you'll be more comfortable there. So let me go ahead and hear from the city, and then we'll come back to you folks.
Officer Bedleen Dorcius, case number is 21-1404. Property owner Neil and Barbara Carnan. Address is 3764 Fieldbrook Road, McKinley, California. Property location 628 North M Street. This was a failed license inspection. Case was initiated on June 5th of 2021. The existing violations are 14-35 use not be certification. The property failed inspection number 46361 on June 5th of 2021. The owner had failed to reschedule another use non-fee inspection since. Next violation is 12-18, trash and debris. 2-756.2, general requirements. 1, to repair the missing soffit screen. 3, to secure the open electrical box or outlet. To repair the broken window. The property owners also informed if they replace the window frame, they need to obtain an approved permit. And 23.4-19 for outdoor storage. Violation has been complied or resolved is 14-32 business license. 23.4-7 parking lot arrow and stripes. 2-756.6 fire safety requirements. 21-33 improper and prohibited parking. 15-39 abandoned property. 12-17 storage accumulation. Formal notice of violation was issued via certified mail on December 10th of 2021. Certified mail was not received. Property was posted on December 14th of 2021. City Hall was posted on December 14th of 2021. The property last reinspection date was on February 22nd of 2022. Personal contact with the owner. The city recommends recommendation time for voluntary compliance is April 25th of 2022 with a fine of $100 per day plus administration cost of $425.29 to be paid by April 25th of 2022.
This is broke, oh, there's. Okay, yes, sir, let me go ahead and swear you in, and then you can tell me about the case. Do you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can proceed.
Marcus Phillips, 628 North End Street.
Yes, sir. So it looks like a lot of things have been taken care of. There's still a few outstanding items. What are your thoughts on those? Well, so if you're gonna, ma'am, if you're gonna testify, I need to swear you in too. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can proceed. Are you getting this on the microphone? I'm having to get the microphone a little closer.
There.
Thank you.
So I do have pictures of everything, well, yeah, everything that was done yesterday, so the video was just the, like, the glass was replaced, without the electrical covers on the outlet. And the screens on the soffit as well.
Okay, if you want to show those photographs to the city attorney, then I'll take a look at those. And if there's no objection, we can make them part of the record. No objections. Okay. Have you seen this?
No.
And you said this work was just done yesterday? All right, so you're still gonna need to have the city come out and inspect it, put their eyes on it, and to sign off on the work that was done and comply the outstanding violations.
We did get that scheduled for March 9th.
I beg your pardon?
We got that scheduled for March 9th.
You have that scheduled already for March 9th? Okay.
May I say something? This wasn't the electrical outlet that I was referring to when I first showed you the picture. Can I see?
You can come up, take a look.
This was the outlet that I was referring to, not cited.
I didn't get that picture, but that was.
And the trash and debris,
Oh,
the
yeah.
mattress,
The mattress, the pallets were also been removed.
the washer that was considered the outdoor storage.
That was promised by the tenant to be removed.
Got that one?
Yeah, I don't have a picture of it. I got confused with the outlets, but yes, that's how it is.
Okay. So your inspection is scheduled for March 9th. The city was recommending a compliance deadline of April 25th, which should be more than enough time. Anything else that you folks would like to tell me about the case?
Just want to make sure so we got everything set out, re-inspection. And it's just the last remaining items.
Yes,
We'll reach out there. So
okay.
we'll make sure we get it.
Of course. Anything else from the city?
Please keep in mind, whatever violation cannot be seen from the sidewalk, street, or the public right of way, please make sure it's in compliance. So if any of your tenants' windows are broken or soffit screens is missing, or any damage to the stucco, please make any necessary repairs, because when I come up for the inspection, if it's observed, it's gonna fail your inspection.
So new items.
No, what I'm saying is your use not to be inspection gives me consent to actually be on the property. So whatever I cannot see from the street, the sidewalk, or the alley, I'll be able to see once I'm on the property. So in order to pass that use not to be inspection, the property has to be in total compliance.
Right, so in other words, if there was another broken window that you can't see until you're back in there, or additional soffit screens that are busted that you can't see, those all need to be buttoned up, or it won't pass the inspection.
Just so I'm clear, so when you guys inspect, you're not walking on the property?
No, sir,
I didn't know that.
not without consent.
Okay,
City needs permission to enter the property.
okay. Well, I didn't know that.
All right, anything else from the city? All right, well, in this case,
That's right, we have a tenant.
oh, yes, ma'am. Did you have anything that you wanted to add in terms of testimony?
I would like to add.
So I'm going to need to swear you in. Does she need to come up to the microphone?
No, I think she can speak louder from
I
there.
can come up, I don't mind.
Okay.
All right, come on up and then I'll swear you in. And then you
You can let
can,
her hold the baby.
you can testify.
Got it.
Do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, and she does too.
Thank you. Go ahead and put your name and address on the record, and then you can proceed.
My name is Katrina Giordani, 628 North End Street. Apartment 4.
All right, go ahead.
I noticed that inside of some of the complaints with the city, there's something about the structure that was not noticed. I have been having raccoons, rats, and mice living up in my attic. And I know that because you guys don't come inside of the property, that's not something that you would notice, but there's evidence around the structure where the mesh screening access to the attic is broken. And there are areas around the structure that doesn't have any mesh at all whatsoever. I had put in a maintenance request roughly 3 months ago about it, and then no one said anything to me. And then with all the storms and the weather that was happening, the animals have been trying to burrow down. And they have released fleas into the apartment. And I let the apartment know, and then they didn't send anyone out until I showed them bodily damage that it was giving me. And I didn't know if it was happening to my daughter as well, so I had to leave the premises. I have pictures of the outside of the structure. And then I wanted to also talk about the windows. That's something that is on the complaint. And then the broken glass was there, but then there are some areas in the window that I don't know if is able to be seen by the naked eye outside, that it also lets in a breeze. And prior to any of this happening, I do want to advocate for the owner of the property, like whenever there's things inside and I request things to get done, he and I work together and he has been able to do things with me. And I had requested if they changed all the windows because there was a breeze getting let in, that I would forfeit my security deposit and to have all the windows changed. Now, I didn't know that the windows were not up to code, and I'm assuming because there's a breeze coming in, that's also not up to code. So I'm requesting that that is put on file so that they could also change all the windows and not just the broken glass. I don't know if that's something that is outside of this, but I also wanted to mention what's happening to me and my daughter inside of the property, as well as what's been noticed outside.
Have you had a conversation with city code enforcement yourself about any of this?
I have seen Bethany, when she had first come out, she had come out when the baby was new, and I had come out there to talk to her, and she told me about all the things. And I have also worked with the apartment. Some of the debris that was out there, some of that was mine, and I couldn't handle it all by myself, so they did help me and send people out. So I have been in contact with her. I had also been in contact with Shalonda, and then I have also been in contact with the landlord and tenant disputes office. So it's something that I've been trying to get taken.
All right, well, I think you're correct. The infestation issue is not something that was cited in this case. That is not part of this case.
Can I show the city attorney the pictures of the outside of the structure? Is that okay? Because it's out on the outside where everything.
Yes. And we need to let the respondent see those as well.
Also wanted to put on record when she informed Yolanda and me about the infestation, she was given that to the health department's number, so she could go in and call and issue a complaint.
Okay. Well, in terms of getting the critters out, I'm not sure I have an answer today sitting here, but fixing the screen should keep new ones out. You can get, if you can step up to the microphone.
Yeah, we did. The owner did approve all of it.
Okay,
So they just finished the first one and then they have this.
okay.
So I have that invoice. I don't have a print yet, but I do have that. Invoice.
All right. Well, it sounds like everybody's headed in the right direction and working towards the same goal here. So,
And then I also mentioned something else. I don't know if this is something I should mention here, because I haven't been in the property for the past month. I would like to be prorated. I just want all of that on the record.
well, that's
I just want it all on the
way
record.
above my pay grade.
Okay.
I have no say about that issue here.
I don't know if anyone can direct me anywhere, on who to contact. I've contacted the health department. I don't know where else I can go to, so this is like my first video, like.
I understand. I
I'm
just,
showing up
yeah,
everywhere.
that's beyond my ability to even address.
So
So,
I did, I've been talking to Maria, you told me that you would call me back, I never got a phone call back from you. Okay, well, I didn't hear that.
all right, thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate you commenting on probably is quite the effort right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else from the city?
Yes, to address one of her complaints about the owner replacing all the windows. In order for the owner to replace those jealousy windows, they would have to get an approved permit through the building department, and as well as getting an approval through the preservation in order to change out the windows. They can't just change out the windows without any approved permits. So if you want the hurricane impacted windows, it's a process, and it's going to take a little bit of time, more than like 30 days, because it has to go through approval process.
I actually had to legal out there last week. They're like the only ones that are slipping to get it done.
Before you purchase any windows, please talk to the building official first about approved windows that you can actually have in the area.
I wanted just to be clear for my own sake.
Let me get you to the microphone, sir, so that we can hear you.
Yeah, I wanted to be clear, jealousy windows, which are there, those are code, those are okay, right? Okay, so we're
As
not,
long as they're well maintained, they're not in
Yeah.
disrepair.
yeah, so we're not in violation of that, but if we choose to upgrade those, that's on our own. volition or whatever. Okay. Understand, thank you.
Donna Robinson, City of Lake Worth Beach. We're in the historic district. The process will take a little bit longer than a normal permitting process, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
It's that extra layer of historic preservation that has to be looked
I
at.
just heard about the trees today. Oh.
Don't hurt back.
Don't cut a tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because people fall windows and they can't put them in.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen that and I've been a magistrate here about a couple of years and I've seen that. And that's a painful lesson. That's a hard lesson to learn that way. Yeah. So, all right. So in this case, city has proper notice. Respondent's agent through the designation of agent is present. City has proper notice documentation in the file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, there's been a lot of forward progress. I will find that the property has actually complied with the code section cited in the notice, with the exception of City Code 14-35 regarding the use and occupancy certificate, 12-18 regarding the trash and debris, and 23.4-19 regarding the outdoor storage, and 22-75.6.2, the general requirements, soffit screens, the electrical box, and the broken window. Although there may have been some forward progress on that based on the testimony and the photographs provided by the respondent, that'll still need to be inspected. And I don't need to repeat everything that was said in terms of the general condition of the property. I am going to accept the city's recommendation, even though the inspection is set for March 9th, I'm going to allow until April 25th for compliance to be achieved. And that will give you plenty of time to, in case it doesn't pass and you have to do some additional remedial work, you should have plenty of time to take care of that. However, there will be daily fines of $100 per day if that April 25th deadline is breached. So you want to make sure you get that taken care of. Since there was a finding of violation, the city's administrative costs of $425.29 are awarded. And that'll also be due on April 25th of this year. Okay, got it. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us this morning.
Okay, so that concludes all of our respondents that are here. So do you want to take a quick break before we move on, or
I'm happy to. I don't need one if everybody wants to just
do you
muscle
need a
on.
break, or do you want to move forward with it? Okay. we'll
This
move
may be the
forward.
latest agenda that I've ever seen.
I know, right?
We have a lot of.
Oh, yes. I keep saying I have you at the back. Okay. We have a couple more before I call the, what do we call them, code officers?
That's what you call them.
That's what I call
At
them
least, you know, it's fun.
here anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to go to page 17 of the agenda. Item number 54, case number 13-126. Property address is 1515 Lake Carbinor Tropical Organics Corp. City Attorney Linehan, and this is for a request to amend a previous order.
Good morning, Your Honor. So in this case, there was an order finding violation and assessing a fine and penalty lien that was entered and reported in 2013. And there was an error in the code violation sections that were cited in that order.
Okay.
So we have an amended order to correct the
Okay,
citation.
sounds good.
And then next is an
Everything
addition.
was added.
Next is an addition to the agenda. I have the order for you to sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll give you all of them at the end. Next is an addition to the agenda, case number 18-3936, property address of 1524 North M Street. Case name is Iora Anime, and this is a stipulated agreement for lien reduction and reconsideration for sale. City Attorney Linehan.
All right, so in this case, Your Honor, the current property owner is different from the respondent in cases. The property owner has a contract for sale of a separate property, but this property has been tagged as a cross lien, and the closing agent underwriter has refused to close the property without having addressed all of the liens.
Right, yeah.
So what as a consideration of sale, the city has agreed that the existing liens on the property of $41,775 be reduced to the 10% of $4,177.50. And that the administrative costs that have not been paid and the property taxes that have not been paid would all be paid out of closing. And so, but no later than March 31st. And that the other cases where administrative costs or lien amounts are due would also be paid. So in case number 15830, the administrative costs and lien amount of $430.69. In case number 183936, the administrative cost of $452.29. and the lien amount of $4,177.50. Case number 20-2875, the administrative cost and lien amount of $1,427.29. And then taxes for 2020 on the 1524 North Penn Street property of approximately $7,406.27. Taxes for 2021 on the same property, $5,000, $5,609.85. Again, if all those costs are not paid by March 31st to the city and the tax collector is appropriate, then the reduced amount of the fine for this case of $41,775 would be reinstated.
Okay. I will approve that one as well. I don't think I need to sign
No,
it.
I've got the order for him to sign.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go to page 1 of the agenda. Item number 4, case number 21-1139, property address of 1012 North K Street. Property owner is Margaret Scott, Officer Church, and this is a public request for a lien reduction, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement. No, you can go ahead and bring all of yours, Suella. Over there.
Remodel for the city of Lake Worth. Yes. Okay. Sue Ella Turek for the city of Lake Worth. Beach Code Officer. This is a stipulated agreement. There's a code enforcement lien on the property located at 1012 North K Street. The owner has met all the requirements of section 2-69.3 and 2-69.3.1. The lien existing on the property is $9,100. The owner agrees to pay $910 to settle the lease, to settle the lien release. I recommend that the special magistrate that an order be entered reducing the lien to $910. The owner agrees to make payment by 3/25/22. If the city does not receive payment, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void, and the existing lien amount of $9,100 shall be reinstated.
All right, I have the stipulated agreement for lien reduction. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form, and it is.
Next, we're going to go to page 15 of the agenda, item 49, case number 21-2412, property address of 1212 North Federal Highway. Property owner is Yakasoy LLC, Officer Turek.
Sorry.
Okay.
Case number 21-2412. I am taking this case over for a previous zone officer that is no longer here. The violations are as follows: 12-17 to cease the garbage cans and recyclable bins out of public view. 12-18, please remove all garbage, trash, and debris from the property. It is the tenants and the property owner's responsibility to make sure the entire property is free of garbage, trash, and debris. 1432, Lakewood business license. It is in review. Permits are on hold. The 1435, the use and occupancy inspection needs to be completed and passed. 2-75.9, landscaping violation. Trim all large trees front of property. Tree branches hang too low over sidewalk, driveway, and street. Tree branches need to be trimmed away from the roof of the structure. Remove all growing weeds, plants from gutter on rear of structure. There shouldn't be any landscaping growing in the gutters. 23.6-1, please put living ground cover in the front yard. Front yard cannot be all dirt. And 2-75.62 has complied, and 23.4-4 fence has complied. The notice violation was on 10/14/21. The property was re-inspected on 10/29/21. The certified mail was returned. The property was posted on 11/18/21. I re-inspected the property on 2/21 and found it to still be in violation. I'm recommending until March 25th, 2022, at a fine of $125 per day to be completed within and by March 25th, 2022.
So it was just 2-75.6.2 and 23.4-4 that are compliant.
Correct.
All right. All right, we have no respondents present. The city has proper notice with the documentation in the file. Find the property remains in violation as cited, with the exception of City Code 2-75.6.2 regarding general requirements in 23.4-4, parens C and parens D regarding residential fence walls and hedges. Those have complied. I will accept the city's recommendation in this case, allow until March 25th to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $125 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. And the city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than March 25th.
Next is page 16 of the agenda, item number 50, case number 20-2163. Property address of 2507 North Federal Highway. Property owners Jennifer and Kevin Broderick, Officer Turek.
Joella Turek for the city of Lake Worth Beach. This case 21-21.63. Property location 2507 to North Federal Highway. The violations are as follows. 1432, the owner needs to apply and obtain a Lake Worth business license. 1435, they need to schedule and pass the use and occupancy inspection. All of the other violations have complied. 2-75.62 complied, 23.6-1 complied, 2-75.9.
Great.
The notice was issued 9/13/21, re-inspected on 10/12/21. The formal notice was issued 11/9/21. Certified mail received 11/12/21, and the property posted 11/12/21. Property was re-inspected on the 17th and again yesterday. The recommendation of time is March 31st, 2022, and for $100 per day if it is not completed by March 31st, 2022.
All right, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I find the property has complied with the violations cited in the notice, except for city codes 1432 and 1435, which remain outstanding. I'll allow until March 31st of 2022 to cure those outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. City is awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than March 31st.
Okay, item 52, case number 21-2571, property address of 1102 North Dixie Highway. Property owner is 1102 LLC, Officer Turek.
Sue Ellen Terry for the city of Lakewood Beach. Property address 1102 North Dixie Highway. The violations are as follows. Lakewood business license 1432. There is no Lakewood business license. The owner needs to apply and obtain the business license. And 1435, you would need to schedule and pass the occupancy inspection. 2-75.6.2 is to remove the fill and paint from the wooden white fence and to repaint the fence. The courtesy notice was issued 11/5/21, re-inspected on 11/5/21 notice. The violation sent out 12/13/21. It's in transit. We never received any response back. The property was posted 12/17/21, and I re-inspected the property on 2/22/22. And I've been in contact with his owner. He now just needs to get his business license and the fence painted. And I'm giving him until the 24th of March, 2022, or $150 per day. And that 4/29/25/29 can be paid on March 24th, 2022 as well.
All right, thank you. I will find proper notice of the posting following the return certified mail. Even though the respondent is not present, I will find, based on the testimony and the evidence, if the property remains in violation as cited, I'll accept the city's recommendation, allow until March 24th of 2022 to cure the outstanding violations. City, after that, daily fines of $150 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is also awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than March 24th.
Okay, next, we're going to go to page 2 of the agenda, item number 6, case number 21-2498. Property address is 1249 17th Avenue North. Property owner is Dixie Burgos, Officer Camacho. Oh, I'm sorry. One more. I forgot that she had. My apologies. Last page. Page 17, item 55, case number 20-883, property address of 1705 North M Street. Property owner is O'Day Enterprises LLC, Officer Turk, and this is a request to vacate a previous order.
Sue Ellen Turk for the city of Lakewood. The city is requested to vacate the order on stipulated agreement and assessing fine and claim of lien filed on 8/17/21.
And the vacate is at the request of the city and with the agreement of the respondent. I will approve that and sign the appropriate order for you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to page 2. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Item number 6, case number 21-2498, property address of 1249 17th Avenue North. Property owner is Dixie Burgos, Officer Camacho.
Officer Camacho, City of Lakewood Beach, 21-2498. On property being violation, city sections 2-75.6.2. Pressure tank driveway, exterior walls and piers needed. Sidewalks, driveways, showing that the border repair free of hazardous conditions. 12-17, storage and accommodation. Remove garbage cans from public view. 2-75.9, cutting through over grass, weeds, bushes, etc. Issue formal notice and hearing in 10/2021. Certified mail was not received 11/22/21. Property posted 11/22/2021. Property was inspected, property in compliance 2/23/22. Photographs of the property have been taken from donations. Personal contact with the owner was not made. Recommendation time, March 28th, 2022, with 3 fines of $50 per day. Administrative costs $425.29. Paid by March 28th, 2022.
Great, thank you. Respondent is not present. The city has proper notice. In this case, based on testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll accept the city's recommendation, require compliance no later than March 28th, 2022. After that, daily fines of $50 per day will be assessed. So compliance is achieved. City's awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than March 28th.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have you guys move over here because we're not picking up on that.
Okay, we're going to go to item 7, case number 21-2541, property address of 1320 13th Avenue North. Property owner is Guadalupe Shield, trustee of the Guadalupe Shield Trust, Officer Camacho.
Officer Camacho, City of Lake Worth Beach. Found property in violation 2-75.6.2. Pressure clean driveway and exterior walls, paint as needed. Replace like paint wood trim on windows, renovation required. 12-17, storage and accumulation, remove garbage cans from public view. 23-4, 23.4.10, parking is prohibited on lawns, landscaping areas, no parking on grass. Formal notice of violation on 11/17/2021. Certified mail was not received on 11/22/2021. Property posted 11/22/2021. Property was re-inspected on 2/23/22, found to be non-compliance. Photographs of property have been showing violations. Personal contact with the property owner was not made. Recommendation time, March 28, 2022, paid fines of $50 per day. Administrative costs for $25.29 to be paid on March 28, 2022.
All right, I will find proper notice. I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I will allow until March 28th, 2022 for the outstanding violations to be cured. After that, daily fines of $50 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is awarded administrative costs $425.29 payable no later than March 28th.
Okay, next is item number 8, case number 21-2581, property address of 1006 13th Avenue North. Property owner is Juan R. Santos Mendez, Officer Camacho.
Anthony Camacho, Court Officer, City of Lake Worth Beach. Found property in violation 12-17. Removal of garbage cans, recycle bins out of view. 15-39, all vehicles must have registration and operable. 23.4-11, parking, storing motor vehicles, boats or trailers in residential district. 12-18, removal of garbage cans, all garbage, trash, and debris from entire property. 2-75.6.2, house numbers not visible. 2-2.75.9, landscaping, cut, trim, or overgrown grass, weeds, bushes, and hedges on the property. Issued formal notice violation by mail 12/14/2021. Certified mail was received. Property posted 12/15/2021. Property was re-inspected on 2/23/22, found to be in non-compliance. Photographs of the property have been taken. Personal contact with the property owner was not made. Recommendation time, March 28, 2022, or fines of $100 per day. Administrative costs $425.29 to be paid by March 28, 2022.
All right, with the received certified mail, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent was not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, property remains in violation as cited. I will accept the city's recommendation and I'll allow until March 28th to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is also awarded its administrative costs of $425.29 to be paid no later than March 28th. you.
Okay, we're gonna go to page 10 of the agenda, item number 34, case number 21-197. Property address of 803 4th Avenue North. Property owner is Lador Schlesinger, Officer Dorcius. And they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Okay.
The city of Lake Worth Beach has entered a stipulated agreement with property owner Lador Schlesinger that the person signed the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the stipulation and bind that a violation exists at the owner's property located at 803 4th Avenue North in Lake Worth Beach. The owner is granted until May 27th of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. The owner understands and agrees that he will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violation and agree that he will not request the same. That if the owner does not correct the violation and bring the property to compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in Section 8 above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. That the owner agrees that the city of Lake Worth Beach code compliance officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been complied to correct the violation of Exhibit A.
Okay, I have the stipulated agreement in the file. I've reviewed it. It appears to be in proper order and it is approved.
Next is page 11, item number 35, case number 21-1304, property address of 101 Lucerne Avenue. Property owner is Robin A. and Ronald E. Marcus, Officer Dorcius, and they have entered into a stipulated agreement.
City of Lake Worth Beach and the property owner Marcus A. Robin have entered into a stipulation that the person signed the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter the stipulation and bind. The violation that exists at the owner's property located at 101 Lucerne Ave, Lake Worth Beach, that the owner is granted until May 2nd of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. Owner understand and agree that he or she will not be entitled to an extension of time and to correct the violation, agree that he or she will not request the same. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property to compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the set date forth in Section 3 above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. That the owner understands City of Lake Worth Beach code compliance officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violations in Exhibit A.
I have the stipulated agreement in the file. I've reviewed it. It appears to be in proper order and it is approved.
Okay, next is item 36, case number 21-1373, property address of 219 South K Street. Property owner is Brooke Ellen Wesh, Officer Dorcas. And I think they may have just entered into a stipulated agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
Just wanted to read a record that the stipulation agreement was just handed to me less than 10 minutes ago and it has not been notarized.
I noticed that. So just-
City of Lake Worth Beach and the property owner, Brooke Wesh, has entered to a stipulated agreement that the person signed the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter to a stipulation and bind that the violation exists at the owner's property located at 219 South K Street in Lake Worth Beach. That the owner is granted until March 24th of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and the owner understands and agree that she will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violations, and agree that she will not be requested the same. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property to compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in Section 3 above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. That the owner understands that the City of Lake Worth Beach code compliance also will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violation in Exhibit A.
So, Your Honor. Yolanda Robinson, City of Lake Worth Beach. The owner's representative dropped the stipulated agreement off and he brought her driver's license. But in order to notarize it, we need her.
Okay,
Yeah, he brought it. So we'll have them come back to the office and notarize it, but he brought the check and he
Okay.
signed it.
well, then that stipulated agreement's approved with the understanding that that's notarization issue is going to get resolved. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to page 12 of the agenda, item 38, case number 21-1615. Property address of 211 North K Street. Property owner is Ariel E. and Christian M. Bastias and Lillian A. Cordova as trustee, Officer Dorsis.
Case number 21-1615, owner's name has already been read to the record. Address is 21 Royal Palm Way, Unit 406 in Boca Raton, Florida. The property location is 211 North K Street. This was a complaint. The case was initiated on June 24th, 2021. The existing violations is 14-35, use not speak certification. The violations that's been complied at this time is 12-17, storage accumulation, 12-21, areas free of garbage and trash, and 2-756.2, general requirements. Courtesy door hanger was left on the property on July 1st, 2021. The property was re-inspected and found to be in non-compliance on October 18th of 2021. Owner received a formal notice of violation via certified mail on November 16th of 2021. Certified mail was received on November 24th of 2021. The property is posted on November 18th of 2021, and City Hall was posted on November 18th of 2021. The property last re-inspection date was on February 22nd of 2022. Photographs of the property was taken. The city has had personal contact with the owner. The city recommendation time for voluntary compliance is March 25th of 2022, or a fine of $100 per day, plus the administration cost of $425.29 to be paid by March 25th of 2022.
What's holding up the use and occupancy certificate?
The owner failed to reschedule their inspection, but she recently called me yesterday and let me know she's scheduled her use and occupancy inspection for March 3rd.
Okay. All right, I will find proper notice in this case. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I find the property has complied with the violations cited in the notice, except for City Code 1435 regarding the use and occupancy certificate, which remains in violation. I will allow until March 25th of 2022 for that violation to be cured. Understanding there's a March 3rd inspection scheduled already. If compliance is not achieved by March 25th, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved, and the city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29, payable also on no later than March 25th.
Next is item 39, case number 21-1930, property address of 802 Lake Avenue. Property owner is Maglia Holdings No. 1 LLC, Officer Dorsis.
Okay.
The city of Lake Beach has entered into a stipulated agreement with the property owner Maglia Holdings No. 1 LLC, that the person signed the stipulated agreement has authority to enter into the stipulation and bond, that the violation exists at the owner's property located at 802 Lake Ave in Lake Beach, that the owner is granted until May 27th of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and the owner understands that he or she will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violation, and agree that he or she will not request the same. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in Section 3 and above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. The owner understands that the city of Lake Beach code compliance officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violations in Exhibit A.
You have the stipulated agreement in the file. I've reviewed it and it appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
And I'm sorry, was that the 22nd or the 27th?
The 27th, May 27th.
Thank you.
527.
Next is item 40, case number 21-2098, property address of 325 North L Street. Property owner is Lidor Schlesinger, Officer Dorcius, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
The city of Lake Worth Beach has entered into a stipulated agreement with the property owner, Lador Schlesinger. The person signed the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation in bind that the violation exists at the owner's property located at 325 North Dell Street in Lake Worth Beach, that the owner is granted until May 27th of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. The owner understands and agree that he or she will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violations and agree that he or she will not request the same. If the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property to compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in Section 3 above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. The owner understands that the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violations in Exhibit A.
Thank you. I do have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Okay, next is page 13, item 41, case number 21-2211. Property address of 301 8th Avenue North. Property owner is Gabriela Noel Mazzone and Giovanna Dominguez Timor, Officer Dorcius, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
The City of Lake Worth Beach and the property owner Gabriela Mazzone, Noel, and Giovanni Dominguez Timor. The person signed the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation and bind that the violation exists at the owner's property located 301 8th Avenue North in Lake Worth Beach. The owner is granted until May 27th of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. The owner understands and agree that she will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violations and agree that she will not request the same. If the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in Section 3 above, a fine of $75 per day will be assessed. The owner understands that City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violation in Exhibit A.
Thank you. I have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Next is item 42, case number 21-2708, property address of 709 Lucerne Avenue. Property owner is 705 711 Lucerne Avenue LLC, Officer Dorcius.
Case number 21-2708, owner 705 711 Lucerne Avenue, address 600 West 83rd Street, Hialeah, Florida. Property location 709 Lucerne Avenue. Case was initiated based off an internal complaint on December 6th of 2021. This property was cited as a repeat violator. The repeat violation has been complied. Let's see. Repeat violation 23.2-21 building permits, 14-35 use not be inspection, and 14-32 for business license. The following violations were not a repeat violation. They also been complied. 23.4-19 for outdoor storage and 15-43 for graffiti. A form of notice of violation was issued via certified mail on January 31st of 2022. Certified mail was received on February 3rd of 2022. Property was posted on February 2nd of 2022. City Hall was posted on February 23rd of 2022. The property last reinspection date was February 22nd of 2022. Photographs of the property was taken. The city had personal contact with the owner. The city recommends $100 per day for the repeat violations, 14-32 business license, 14-35 use not be inspection, and 23.2-21 for the building permits that commenced on December 6th, 2021 and ran until February 22nd of 2022 for a total of 78 days plus administration costs of $425.29 to be paid by April 27th of 2022.
Okay, so everything's complied, but we had on 14/32, 9 days of repeat violation. And on 23.2-21, we had 49 days of repeat violation. And you're looking,
For 14-35, a total of 78 days, which was the last violation that was complied on February 22nd of 2022.
and $100 per day was the recommendation.
Yes.
And that's $5,800
Yep.
plus administrative costs. Okay, so the city has proper notice in this case. I'm finding that the property, all the violations are now in compliance. I do find, based on the testimony and the evidence, that the violations of City Code 23.2-21 and 14-32 were repeat violations and the violation of 14-32 ran for 9 days, and the violation of 23.2-21 ran for 49 days. That's a total of 58 days of repeat violation. I will impose fines of $100 per day for a total of $5,800. I'll also award the city's administrative costs of $425.29 payable immediately. And
There was one more repeat violation.
there was a third.
14-35 use not speak certificate, which commenced on
Oh,
December
I see.
6th and was complied on February 22nd.
So that was 78 days.
Yes.
That would be an additional $7,800 for that repeat violation. I'll award that as well. Right. Okay.
Yes.
The order, okay, that was a complicated one. I think we got it.
Okay, we're gonna go to page 1 of the agenda, item number 1. Page number 18-5964, property address of 702 South Dixie Highway. Property owner is Radio Vision Media, Inc., Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Code
Thank you.
Compliance Division entered into a stipulated agreement with Radio Vision Media, Inc. And that the person executing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the agreement. And that there's a code enforcement lien on the property at 702 South Dixie Highway. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts due to the city. And the owner has met all requirements of sections 2-69.3, 2-69.3.1 of the city codes ordinances. The lien existing on the property totals $19,050, and the owner agrees to pay $1,905 to settle and release the lien. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that an order be entered reducing the lien to $1,905. The owner agrees to make this payment by March 24th, 2022. And if the city does not receive the payment as set forth, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void with no further action taken by the city, and the existing lien amount of $19,050 be reinstated.
I have the stipulated agreement for lien reduction in the file. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper order and it is approved.
Special magistrate.
Next is item number 2, case number 20-1599. Property address of 717 North East Street. Property owner is Clertude Forest, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Division entered into a stipulated agreement for lien reduction. And the person executing the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the agreement. There is a code enforcement lien on the property at 717 North East Street. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts due to the city. The owner does not have any other properties in the city with active code compliance cases and has met the requirements of 2-69.3 and 2-69.3.1. The lien existing on the property totals $10,425. The owner agrees to pay $1,425 to settle and release the lien. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that an order be entered reducing the lien to $1,425, and the owner agrees to make this payment by March 24th, 2022. If the city does not receive the payment as set forth above, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void with no further action taken by the city, and the existing lien amount of $10,425 be reinstated, sir.
I have reviewed the stipulated agreement for lien reduction. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Next is item 3, case number 20-2811, property address of 410 South D Street. Property owner is the estate of Leonard Scott, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Division entered into a stipulated agreement with Armis Connect. The person executing the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the agreement. The code enforcement on the property for 10 South D Street. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts due to the city. The other does not, the owner doesn't have any other properties in the city with active code compliance cases and meet the requirements of sections 2-69.3, 2-69.3.1. The lien existing on the property totals $11,800, and the owner agrees to pay $1,180 to settle and release the lien. The city is recommending to the special magistrate that order be entered reducing the lien to $1,180, and the owner agrees to make this agreement by March 24th, 2022. If the city does not receive the payment set forth above, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void, and no further action to be taken by the city. The existing lien amount of $11,800 shall be reinstated.
Thank you. I do have the stipulated agreement for lien reduction. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Thanks, sir.
Next is page 3, item number 10, case number 20-1786. Property address of 625 North Dixie Highway. Property owner is Afra Investment Inc., Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Coast Compliance Division in case number 20-1786. Owner Afra Investment Inc. and the property location is 625 North Dixie Highway. Found the property to be in violation of the city code of ordinances. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 12-18, areas free of garbage, trash, and debris. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 12-7, the dumpster requirements, being kept sanitary and in order-free condition. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 14-32 and 14-35 to apply for and obtain the City of Lake Worth Beach business license and approved use and occupancy inspections. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 2-75.6.2, which is our general requirements, and that the property be kept free and clean of garbage, trash, and debris, and other outdoor storage. And there's also some issues with their the parking and the landscape and their signage. So they have several things going on there. We actually was going to enter into a stipulated agreement. Unfortunately, the owner is out of town and the owner is aware of the hearing, but could not have the stipulated agreement signed in time, so is aware that this is coming forward. Just wanted to put that on record. I do have photographs of the property that has been taken by me showing the violations. The property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022 and found to still be in violation. The service was by certified mail, which was received on January 12th, 2022, and also posted at the property, and regular mail was mailed as well. The recommendation time is that they comply by April 29th, 2022, or a fine of $150 be assessed with administrative costs of $425.29.
Okay, the city has proper notice with the delivered certified mail. The city has presented testimony and evidence to establish violations remain outstanding as cited in the notice. I'll accept the city's recommendation, require compliance by April 29th, 2022. After that, daily fines of $150 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is awarded an administrative cost of $425.29 payable no later than April 29th.
Sir.
Next is item page 4. Item 13, case number 21-1053, property address of 119 South D Street, number 2, property owner is D Street LLC, Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Division, case number 21-1053, D Street LLC. The property location is 119 South D Street. Issued a formal notice of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail and regular mail. The certified mail was received on December 7, 2021. The property was posted on December 7, 2021, and also posted at City Hall. The property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022, and found to be in non-compliance. I do have photograph, which is a clear and accurate representation of what I witnessed. At this time, the property remains out of compliance with code sections 14-35 and 14-32 to apply for and obtain a City of Lake Worth Beach business license and approved use and occupancy inspection. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 2-75.6.2, boarded windows at the property, removing all boarded windows and shutters, rotted wood, fascia boards, pressure washing and removing peeling, chipping paint. Lake Worth Code of Ordinances 12-18, areas free of garbage, trash, and debris, to remove all garbage, trash, and debris stored on the property. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 23.4-19 for outdoor storage. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 6-5 for allowable pets. To remove all the animals or fowl animals, which includes chickens and roosters. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 15-39 to remove or make operable the inoperable vehicle stored on the property. At this time, the city is recommending that the property come into compliance by March 31st, 2022, or a fine of $100 be assessed with administrative costs of $425.29.
All right, thank you. The city has proper notice in this case. I will find the property remains in violation as cited, accept the city's recommendation to require compliance by March 31st of 2022. After that, daily fines of $100 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved, and the city is ordered administrative costs of $425.29 also payable later than March 31st.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Next, we're going to go to page 5, item 15, case number 21-1276, property address of 412 North East Street. Property owner is Venus and Mars Investment Group, LLC, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance decision entered into a stipulated agreement, and the person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulated agreement. And the violations exist on the owner property located at 412 North East Street. The owner is granted until March 31st, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that if the owner does not correct the violations to bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that the above a fine of $100 per day will be assessed, and that the owner understands the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance officer will reinspect the property to verify whether the necessary work has been completed.
Thank you. I have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper order and it is approved.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Next is item 17, case number 21-1508, property address of 409 South Dixie Highway. Property owner is Tropical Point Plaza, Inc., Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance division entered into a stipulated agreement with Tropical Point Plaza, Inc. The person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation. And then the violations exist at the owner's property at 409 South Dixie Highway, and the owner is granted until March 31st, 2022 to come into obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. And that if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that a fine of $150 per day will be assessed. And that the owner understands that the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance officer will inspect the property to verify necessary work has been completed.
Thank you. I have the stipulated agreement. I have reviewed it. It is in proper form and it is approved.
Next is item 18, case number 21-1524, property address of 1402 Lucerne Avenue. Property owner is Big Brother Skins Holdings, Inc., Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Also, Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance division entered into a stipulated agreement with Big Brother Skins Holdings, Inc., and that the person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation, and that the violations exist at the owner's property at 1402 Lucerne Avenue. The owner is granted until April 28, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that if the owner does not correct the violations to bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, by the date set forth, that a fine of $200 per day will be assessed, and that the owner understands that the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance officer will reinspect the property to verify whether the necessary work is completed.
Okay, I have the stipulated agreement in the file and it has been reviewed and it is approved.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Next is page 6, item 19, case number 21-1528, property address of 422 North East Street. Property owner is Ludme Jacques trustee as of the Ludme Jacques Trust. I apologize. Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code compliance division, case number 2115-28, owners as stated in a few minutes ago. For the property located at 422 North East Street. The property was found in violations of code sections 14-32 and 14-35 to apply for and obtain a City of Lakewood Beach Code Lakewood Beach business license and approved use and occupancy inspections, and Lakewood Code of Ordinances 2-75.9 to cut more all overgrowth and maintain, and that the owner received certified mail on December 15, 2021 in regular mail. The property was posted at the property and City Hall on December 13, 2021. The property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022. There are photographs that were taken by me, which are clear and accurate representation of what I witnessed. At this time, we are recommending that the property come into compliance by March 24th, 2022, or a fine of $75 per day be assessed, and administrative cost of $425.29.
All right, city has proper notice in this case based on the testimony and the evidence. If the property remains in violation as cited, I will accept the city's recommendation, require compliance by March 24th of 2021. After that, daily fines $75 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than March 24th.
Thank you, Special.
Next is item 20, case number 21-2072, property address of 331 North F Street. Property owner is Raphael T. Tuberon, trustee of the Raphael T. Tuberon Revocable Living Trust, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Division entered into a stipulated agreement with Raphael Tuberon and Raphael T. Tuberon. And that the person entering into the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the agreement, and that the violations exist on the owner's property located at 331 North F Street, and that the owner is granted until April 29, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that $100 per day will be assessed, and that the owner understands the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Officer will inspect the property to verify whether the necessary work has been completed.
We do have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Thank you, Special Master.
Next is item 22, case number 21-2475, property address of 416 North C Street. Property owner is Venus and Mars Investment Group LLC, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the State of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance District 1 entered into the stipulated agreement with Venus and Mars Investment Group. The person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation, and that the violations existing on the property located at 416 North C Street, the owner is granted until March 31st, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that if the owner does not correct the violations or bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that a fine of $100 per day be assessed. And that the owner understands the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Officer will inspect the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violation.
I do have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. It's in proper form and it is approved.
Thank you, sir.
Next is page 7, item 23, case number 21-2477, property address of 204 South E Street. Property owner is Venus and Mars Investment Group LLC, Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Division previously sworn entered into a stipulated agreement with Venus and Mars Investment Group. The person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation, and the violation existing at the owner's property located at 204 South C Street, and that the owner is granted until March 31st, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that the owner, if the owner does not correct the violations or bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. The owner understands that the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Officer will inspect the property to verify that necessary work has been completed to correct the violation.
Okay, I do have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. Including the exhibit with the list of violations. It is in proper form and it is approved.
Next is item 24, case number 21-2478, property address of 912 North H Street. Property owner is Venus and Mars Investment Group LLC, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Officer Clinton Bush with the State of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Division previously sworn entered into a stipulated agreement with Venus and Mars Investment Group, and that the person signing the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the stipulation, and the violations existing on the property at 912 North H Street. The owner is granted until March 31st, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. And that the owner understands that the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Officer will re-inspect the property to verify whether the necessary work has been completed to correct the violation.
All right, I have reviewed the stipulated agreement, including Exhibit A. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Thank you, Special Master.
Next is page 8, item 25, case number 21-2479, property address of 529 North H Street. Property owner is Venus and Mars Investment Group LLC, Officer Clinton Bush, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
I'm sorry.
529 South H, Venus and Mars again.
Busy.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Department entered into a stipulated agreement with Venus and Mars Investment Group, and that the person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation, and that the violations existed on the owner's property located at 529 North H Street, and that the owner is granted until March 31st, 2022, to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A, and that if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A, that a fine of $100 per day will be assessed, and that the owner understands that the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Officer will re-inspect the property to verify that the necessary work has been completed.
I have the stipulated agreement in the file. I reviewed it in proper form along with Exhibit A and
Next is item 26, case number 21-2610, property address of 909 North C Street. Property owner is Avita McCoy, Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Division, previously sworn, case number 21-2610, and Vita McCoy in the address known of 1001 Bradley Court, in the property location 909 North C Street. Found the property to be in violations of the city's code of ordinances, Lakewood Code of Ordinances 12-18 for garbage, trash, and debris, removing all trash, garbage, and debris, including vegetation from the rear property. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 14-32 and 14-35 to apply for and obtain the City of Lakewood Beach business license and approve use and occupancy inspections. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 2-75.6.6, the fire safety requirements to open all shutters, covering windows. Storm shutters shall be open 14 days following the occurrence of the storm. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 2-75.6.2 to scrape all filling, chipping, paint, and repaint the areas. Restore or remove the screen on the front door and the bars, and to repair any breaks and holes, providing numerical address to the structure. Certified mail was returned to us on February 4th, 2022. We also received the regular mail returned to us. The property was posted at City Hall and also on the property on January 14th, 2022. The property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022. There are photographs of the property that was taken by me. The recommendation time is March 24th, 2022 to come into compliance, or a fine of $100 per day be assessed, and that the administrative cost of $425.29 be assessed and paid by March 24th, 2022 as well.
with the posting following the return certified mail, the city has proper notice. The respondent is not present. Based on testimony and evidence that when the property remains in violation as cited, I'll accept the city's recommendation, require compliance no later than March 24th of 2022. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is also awarded its administrative costs of $425.29, payable no later than the March 24th compliance date.
Next is item 27, case number 21-2653, property address of 910 Fifth Avenue North. Property owner is Nature's Reserve LLC, Officer Clinton Bush.
Officer Clinton Bush with the City of Lakewood Beach Code Compliance Division, previously sworn, case number 21-2653, Nature's Reserve LLC, with a mailing address of 6738 Wallace Drive, Road, West Palm Beach, Florida. And the property location is 910 Fifth Avenue North. And that the property was found in violation with City of Lakewood Beach Code sections, Lakewood Code of Ordinances 2-75.6.2, vacant structures and land. All vacant structures and premises of vacant land shall be maintained, clean, safe, and secure. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 15-39 to remove all vehicles stored on the vacant property. Lakewood Code of Ordinances, fences, walls, and gates to remove or apply for a permit for fence sections and posts installed without a permit. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 12-18 for areas free of garbage, trash, and debris. Lakewood Code of Ordinances 12-38 for lots and land nuisances to cut more all weeds, overgrowth, and maintain the lot. I do have photographs which are taken by me, which are a clear and accurate representation of what I witnessed. The certified mail was returned on January 27, 2022. The property was posted on December 21st, 2021. Regular mail was not returned. At this time, the property, the property was re-inspected on February 23rd, 2022, and it's still found in out of compliance. And the recommendation time is March 24th, 2022, or a fine of $200 per day be assessed with administrative costs of $425.29, paid by March 24th, 2022 as well.
Okay, with the posting following the return of certified mail, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find property remains in violation as cited. Will city's recommendation require compliance by March 24th of 2022. After that, daily fines of $200 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. City is also awarded its administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than the March 24th deadline.
Thanks, Mr. Magistrate.
And I believe that concludes our agenda. I do not have any authorization of foreclosures this month.
It's not even 11 o'clock yet. Yeah,
I did make sure everything.
anything else is either rescheduled, complied, or withdrawn. So that concludes everything on my agenda. Is there anything else we need to do this morning?
No, sir.
Right, it is just before 11 o'clock and we stand adjourned.